Hi everyone, welcome to Clear Estimates. I'm Alex, I'm one of the customer support leads here at Clear Estimates and wanted to personally welcome you to our software here, Clear Estimates, an estimating tool for residential construction, remodeling work, handyman work, all across the United States. We'll give it a couple more minutes here and we'll get started. We'll start out with just some admin topics here while we're waiting. One of which is this email up here in the top right. This is your login email. So anytime you're using the software, this is how you're going to log in. You'll have your email and password. You can log in from any device since we are an online-based tool. So Macs, PCs, laptops, tablets, desktops, phones. Again, as long as you've got internet access, you'll be able to log into your account using this email right here and the password that you've set up. We're here on the home page. This is always where we're going to start when we log into your account. Just like you should be seeing right now, I've just got some example projects here for an example customer, Steven Sample. And let's just go ahead and get started here. So, in this session here, it's going to be about a half hour. We're going to have a Q&A at the end and talk about some best practices and just kind of walk you through the program here. And we're going to touch on just about everything from creating the estimate, updating our pricing, all the way to looking at our proposals. So what we're going to do is just take a look at the example estimate just to get a pulse on what the program offers here. So I'm just going to open up this multiple part remodeling project. And again, this is just an example estimate for you to take a look at. So once I clicked the estimate name there over here in the projects page, this is where we're going to spend the majority of our time in the program. And just a quick side note over here, this is just a little pop-up that's going to show up, and these are just some automated messages with some videos for us to walk you through every page that you're going to encounter in Clear Estimates. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. We're going to see it pop up again in the future just because this is a brand new account. And this right here, down here where that pop-up came from, is just a little chat icon. So we've got a free chat feature, and if you didn't already know, support is always 100% free. And the chat feature is a great way to get a hold of us during our business hours. You can just ask any questions, and we typically will get back to you in just a few minutes. But back to the projects page here. So again, this is where we're going to spend probably 90% of our time creating the estimate. I've got my project description here, which can be adjusted. I've got my customer name and the project name. And then I've got my search bar. This is where we're going to search for parts and templates to add to our estimate. In this case, we can see that the estimate's already been completed. So I already have several items and parts in the estimate. If I scroll down a little further here, I've got my markup section. I've got my base bid and my actual total. I've got alternates, which are change orders, and then I've got components, which are an organizational feature. And then down here at the very bottom, we've just got some miscellaneous features, including the ability to export to QuickBooks and our various export options for a line item breakdown. Back up here at the top, I've got the ability to view a formal report, which is the document that we're going to send to our customer. So let's take a look at that real quick. Just going to click print to PDF. That's always the quickest way to take a look at it. And the great part about Clear Estimates is it's automatically going to turn that technical estimate into a professional looking proposal. And that's what we're generating right now. And again, we're just taking a look at the PDF form. So you can see this is what our account looks like. So we've got our customer information, we've got our information. This is what we call boilerplate text, so anything legal we want to include. And again, you can adjust that as well. Then we'll get into the estimate itself. So we're going to have a complete overview of the estimate broken out by category, typically in the order that the scope of work would be performed. So we'll continue down here. We'll get to the bottom, the bottom down here. It's a very large estimate, multiple component, full house remodel. We've got our project cost of about $103,000. That includes our markup. And just below that, we've got any kind of alternate. We've got a payment schedule, and then our signature boxes. So that's kind of the 5-minute overview of the system. But let's get a little more technical now. Let's break down and get into an actual estimate and do some customizing to your account. So what I'm going to do is head back to the home page. And we're going to discuss a few things. We're going to get into the technical details of the program. So again, the home page is where we're going to begin every time we log into the program. You're going to see your most recent estimates here. So as you begin to build them, they're going to display right here. You can search for your customers and projects right here, and we can begin a brand new estimate by clicking this button right here. If you ever need a quick refresher of what's happening on this page or how to create your first estimate, you're just going to click this video right here. It's just 2 minutes long, and it's going to walk you through exactly what I'm talking about right now. But our couple admin things we need to take care of is one of the biggest things Clear Estimates offers is that we provide up-to-date material and labor pricing to 400 locations across the states. So odds are we've got a location near you. So let's go ahead and take care of that right now. So I'm going to head up to Update up in the top right of our screen. This is where we're going to take care of our material pricing. So I'm just going to add in a location, and it should pull up the 5 nearest locations to me. We'll let this load. I'm in Denver, Colorado right now, so we're going to go ahead and add in Denver. And the final thing we need to do is click refresh and then update. So a little bit about Clear Estimates pricing. We partner with a company called Remodel Max. They're a reputable national source for pricing information. They use kind of a secret formula of sources and providers to develop that information, and that pricing is placed in Clear Estimates. It's updated every 3 months, so every quarter, and that pricing is always available to you as long as you're a subscriber of ours. And you can see there while I was talking, we had a little green confirmation box that let us know that the pricing was updated, and I can double check on that just by looking at our active box right here. So let's head up here to options, and we're going to take care of our labor rates now. Before we do so, let's talk a little bit about the options page. So the options page in general is considered our settings page. So anything, you ever have any questions about your reports, about what's displaying, what's not displaying, odds are you're going to come back here into options and take care of that. It's also where we're going to add in our company information. So you can add in anything about your company right here. All of these fields are for you. You can add in your license number. We can set our logo right here. We can adjust the size and the placement. Any changes we make, just be sure to come down here and click Save. Now back to the labor rates. So over here on the left side, we're going to click Labor Rate Editor. And you can see I've got some default rates in here. So these rates do not apply to your location yet. Again, these rates are not to your area. What we need to do is either adjust them based off of what we charge already. So if you already know what we charge for these various trades, you're just going to click the rate and make the adjustment. However, if you'd like to see what's being charged in your area, what's recommended being charged in your area, you can click our recommended values just by clicking this link right here. This is going to pull up our 2019 rate sheet, and again, this information is coming from Remodel Max. So I'm going to scroll down to Denver, Colorado here. And here's our row for Denver. And you can see we have 11 different columns here, everything from a truck driver to a plumber. If I'm interested in adding these rates in, I'm just going to take these rates and add them one by one. So $33.69 for the truck driver. Add that in. And then we'll go down the list here. So it takes a couple minutes, and we'll go $29.59, $29.55 for the laborer, and so forth. Any changes you make will kind of be identified with a little red triangle here. Once you save them, that triangle will go away. It's always good to keep these rates in your account. If you want to make any additional rates, you can do so just by clicking Add New Record. So it's that simple. Those are kind of our administrative tasks that we need to take care of. But now let's head back over to our home page and kind of walk through the estimate process here. So we're going to go in. Again, we're back at the home page where we start out originally in our account. We're going to click New Project. And a little form is going to ask us some information about our customer. So let's call this guy Alex Estimates. We'll give him the email estimates@clearestimates.com. And let's call this a bathroom remodel. Remodel the first floor bathroom. Go ahead and click Continue. It's going to ask you if the project contains components. Components are an organizational feature if we're working with a larger estimate. An example would be if we're doing a bathroom and a kitchen. We would say yes, and we have 2 components. It's just an organizational feature. It makes it much easier for our client to read. But in this case, we just have one, so we don't need components. We're going to click Continue, and the estimate is going to be created. So what just happened was the customer, Alex Estimates, was created, and the project bathroom remodel was created. We can always confirm that just by looking up here in the top left in bold. This is the project that we're working on. So we're back in the projects page where the estimate itself is going to take place. Now we've got a couple options from here, and it all revolves around our search feature. So we've got parts and templates. Parts are just our individual scopes of work, and then templates are going to be kind of our pre-built estimates. So let's take a look at both. We're going to add a template first. So I'm just going to type in the word bathroom. And I'm going to click templates. And you're going to see all of the templates that we have related to a bathroom. Now, just for demonstration purposes, if I was to type in kitchen, you would see the same thing for kitchens, or even paint. So we've got all the common remodel jobs, and I encourage you to explore them. But in this case, we're just going to go with bathroom. We typically have 3 different grades: economy, average, and premium. So let's go with something in the middle here. Now the great part about templates is all we need to do is tell ClearEstimates how big this particular job is going to be in terms of square footage. So I'm going to say this bathroom is 60 square feet. I'm going to add it to my main project, again, because I don't have any components. We're just adding it to the main project. And I'm going to click Add Template. Now watch this right side over here. This is our estimate. All of those parts display over here in our estimate with just a click of the button. So this is the fantastic aspect about templates, is they're not going to be perfect for every job because every job is different, but it's going to give you a great foundation of where we should start. So if I exit out of my search, you'll see everything that's in our standard average grade bathroom remodel has been populated according to that square footage of 60. So I can scroll down and see everything that's inside of the estimate. Now it's not always going to be this easy, right? So there's going to be some tweaks and adjustments that we need to make to really customize it for each estimate. So let's say I'm going to get rid of this toilet part. And let's say we need to add in our own unique toilet part. In this case, I'm going to come up here back to our search feature, and I'm going to search for one keyword. We're going to search for toilet. And you'll see we're back here in the parts. And these are the search results that we're going to yield for the toilet. So anything with a gold star is something that our customers use very often. And then the rest of them are just going to be relevant search results. So let's say we're going to go in here and we're going to install this guy here. Install toilet 2-piece average. Perfect, fits in with our template. We're going to go ahead and add that in. We've just got one, and this is going to be our material cost for the toilet, the labor, bringing us to our total here, and we're going to be using our plumber rate of $46.84 an hour. Let's say we wanted to change that rate just for demonstration purposes again. I can come in here. Maybe we're going to go a little cheaper on the install, so we're going to go down to $29.55. I'm just going to add the part. We're going to get confirmation, and it's added to our estimate. So just like that, we were able to remove a part from the estimate and add in something from the database here. So let's do this one more time. Let's say we're going to add in an additional vanity. So I'm just going to type for the word vanity. I'm going to hide our previous results. And again, our gold stars are going to be our most common options. And if you find a part that you really like, just go ahead and star it. And it's going to show up at the top here, kind of favoriting the item. So with a vanity, vanity is going to be something where we have tons of different options, tons of different price points. But let's go ahead and let's see here. Let's add in a corner vanity. So we've got 22 by 22, one door average, again fits in with our template. We've got about 268 and then 25 for labor. Go ahead and add the part. Now let's say this part is almost what we're looking for, but the pricing just isn't right. Well, no problem. We're going to use this button instead. We're going to click Add and Customize. When we click this, it's going to pull up the inner workings of the part and allow you to make any adjustments. So this is one great feature that I personally like about ClearEstimates, is the flexibility when it comes to creating and adjusting parts. So let's say this vanity is actually going to be a little cheaper. Let's say it's going to be around $200. And let's say it's going to take a little less time to install, maybe just a half hour, so 0.5. And then we're still going to use the same rate here, and we're still going to have the same quantity, but we were able to make some quick adjustments, and then all we have to do is come down here and save the part. And it's added to our estimate. Now there's one other way that we can add something to our estimate. So let's say we're searching and searching and we just can't find what we're looking for. In that case, you're going to create what's called a custom part. So we're going to come in here to search, and we're going to click Create Custom Part. And a little form is going to pop up here, allowing us to add in pretty much anything we'd like. So we're going to first select a category for something that makes sense. So we're going to come in here, and let's add something bathroom plumbing related. And then we're just going to say this is our example part. Let's say the material cost on this example part is going to be $200 and the labor is going to be $100. And we're just going to click Save. So it's really easy to do, and it's a fantastic way to add something either very quickly, maybe you just don't want to search for it, or something that's just not in the database. And that part is added to your estimate. So if we look down here, we find it. So we're going to go to 22. Here it is. This is our example part, and $300. Now when we're working in our estimate, you've got a little option here that says Display with Markup. And our markup down here is the next thing we'll talk about. So markup is a great place to handle overhead and profit. So what we're looking at in our estimate here is just the actual total, which is about $9,200. So that's what it's costing to get this work done. And you can learn more about the markup just by clicking this little question mark here. But let's say we wanted to mark up our labor maybe 30%, and then let's do our material 40%. So whatever you determine this to be, it's automatically going to calculate over here, and then it's going to place it in your base bid. So the base bid is the number that we're going to present to our customer, and that's the combination of the actual total and the total markup. So back to our display with markup. So if you were curious to see what your costs look like with the markup blended in, take a look at these numbers. So 2482 and then 110. So if I put the markup on, you'll see that the markup has now been blended into each number. This is again just for you to take a look at so you can kind of compare what's going on individually. So we'll go ahead and turn it back off. Now back down here at the bottom, just a couple more things to talk about. Alternates are going to be your change orders. So whenever a change order comes along, just click Add Alternate. And then components, we briefly discussed these, but you've got another opportunity to create these. So let's say our customer wants to add on an additional scope of work, say it's the kitchen. We would just click Add Component, and then we would componentize this estimate here, organizing it into a nice fashion. But again, just for something like a bathroom or a standalone project, you don't need components. And just a couple other things here. It's always good to mark your project status. So if this guy gets approved, just go ahead and mark it as approved. You can add in miscellaneous items for things like discounts or any kind of tax. Duplicate project is a fantastic feature if you build an estimate and have something similar come along down the road. You can simply just duplicate this over to another customer. So it saves a lot of the legwork. So definitely keep that one in mind. And then time card totals here. This is a fun little feature. It allows you to see where your hours are going to be allocated throughout the various scopes of work. And then export project. This is a very important feature here. So this is not the typical report that we're going to send to our customers. That's called the formal report. We're going to talk about that in a second. But this is kind of your spreadsheet style breakdown. So this is typical for internal use if you work with insurance companies. It's also how we're going to export to QuickBooks, the online version, the desktop version. And if you're having trouble with the QuickBooks export, we've also got additional information on that. That's a separate process. If you're a pro user, customer rather, you can send out estimates via Buildertrend here. To your Buildertrend account. And then you can obviously do Excel, Word, and PDF. So if I was to click PDF here, it's going to ask me if I want to include my markup. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to click Export. And again, it's automatically going to generate this document for me. So we've got our customer's last name, bathroom remodel. Then we're going to see a pretty nice little breakdown here of everything that's going on. So again, more of our technical breakdown. And then we've got our project cost here. So let's go back to Clear Estimates, and let's go back up to the top, and let's talk about the actual formal estimate here. So the formal estimate, this is what we're presenting to our customers. It's kind of our end goal when we're working in Clear Estimates. It's kind of, once we know when we've completed the process, when we send out the formal estimate. So we've got a quick shortcut for you right here, just called View Formal Report. So let's go take a look at it right now. So I'm just going to click Print to PDF. And again, it's automatically going to be generated for you. And once you add your logo in, it's going to show up top here. We've got our customer information, your information. We've got this boilerplate text, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then we've got the estimate itself. So we're going to see a nice background, a nice order here for the estimate. Always going to be in the order of the scope of work. So we're typically going to start with some demolition, get into plumbing, electrical, finish out with some painting and everything in between. But our goal here is to provide complete transparency to our customers so they see everything that's going on. So that way, we're completely transparent about the estimate. So you can see we're even getting down to the square footage of what's happening so they understand. Here's our example part that we created. And then if we go down to the bottom here, we've got our cost, which includes the markup. And then just below that, we've got a signature box and acceptance of proposal. So let's head back to Clear Estimates. Again, that's just a quick way to take a look at it. And you can send it directly from your account just by clicking Send to Customer. But if you'll notice at the top of the estimate, so I'm back in the formal report, we've got some general conditions, some example boilerplate language that you probably don't want on your reports. You want to customize this. So let's go and talk about customizing that language. So we're going to head back over here to Reports. Again, right next to Projects, we're just in Reports. And we're automatically taken to what's called the boilerplate. Oh, here's another automated message. You should see it popping up. We'll just go ahead and close him out. We're going to scroll down to the bottom here, and you're going to see the various boilerplates that we offer. Now, they're showing up on our reports based off of these little check marks. So if I click General Conditions, this is what's inside of that boilerplate here. So again, just some sample text. If you were to read this, it's telling you exactly what I'm talking about right now. But we're just going to go ahead and uncheck that from our formal, which is the F. So I'm going to uncheck them all. And we're going to create our own real quick here. So I'm just going to click Add Heading. You'll see it at the bottom here. And we're just going to say this is our example heading. Then we're going to add in some text. So we'll say exclusions. And then we can do some cool things with this. So we can bold. We can create a list. So if I wanted to create a list. So again, I'm just filling in some text. We can even make them bigger. So if we wanted to make this list a little bigger, maybe we're going to underline this. So we can do some really cool stuff with the boilerplate. And we can even insert variables, such as the customer's name, information, project cost. But let's say we want this to display on our proposal. So I'm just going to go ahead and save. And then I'm going to check off the formal. And then if we head over here to our official formal page, so I showed you how to view your formal report from the projects page. You can also do it over here in the official formal page. This is also where we can add in a payment schedule. We can include line item costs on our report, so some various customization aspects can occur here in the dedicated formal page. And we're going to take a look at it just by going here, Print Preview, Print to PDF. And again, it's automatically going to generate for us. And here's our little boilerplate that we created. So we created a list, we italicized in bold, and then this is our heading. So that allows you to really customize your contractual language. If you were interested in turning this estimate into a contractual document, this is where we can add in that language. So we can add it at both the beginning and the end of the proposal. So this is kind of a complete walkthrough of the program. And it probably seems pretty simple to you after watching this video. And the truth is, it is a pretty simple program. We designed it to be so. Hopefully it becomes a helpful estimating tool for you. And that's really what the bulk of the features revolve around, is just the estimating side of things here. And one thing I like to envision when you're working in the system here is you're going to start on the left here, the home page, and you're going to work your way over here to the right. And we haven't discussed customers yet because basically it's just a way to access your customer information. The home page can typically do the same thing, but if you wanted to change anything about your customer, such as their name or their address, contact info, that's going to take place here in the customers page. But just think of yourself as moving from left to right here. So we create our customer, we create the estimate over here in the projects page, and then we're ready to send it out. We're going to go in here to reports and then send it off. And then up here in the top right, these are kind of your 4 admin buttons. So parts up here is where your database is located. It's where if we wanted to add any completely custom parts to our database. Templates up here is how we'll create our own templates if you wanted to do so. And then options, we were just up in here where we can take care of anything settings related, our labor rates, our logo. We can manage our subscription here. And then update, this is dedicated to our material pricing update. And again, your email up here is how you'll log into your account. And then tools up here, if you're interested in exporting to the desktop version of QuickBooks or importing your own parts, typically you'll only import your own parts if it's a few hundred or a few thousand. And then support up here, you can find all of our articles, videos, and then our webinars, which are a fantastic resource. But with that, I'll kind of open it up for some questions, and I've got some pre-listed questions here from a few of our customers that just signed up from us. So let's kind of get into it here. So first question from Tom. What do I do when I can't find a part? So when you can't find a part, so back to kind of what we discussed near the beginning here. So when you can't find a part over here in our projects page, again, it's all going to revolve around this search here. But some best practices so we can avoid that in the first place. So we always want to search for just one keyword. So if I was to search for sink, for example, rather than adding in additional words, making it a phrase or a sentence, use kind of the most common terminology. So sink here, and we're going to yield the best results. And then as you become more familiar with the database, you can go down this list here. And if we wanted to search for sink in bathroom plumbing, then we could refine it even further. So we would search for sink in bathroom plumbing, and you'll see now we just have about 50 results, or 100 rather. So those are kind of some best practices. But if you really can't find something in the database, the best thing to do is to create a custom part. A custom part. And again, that revolves around just hovering over search and clicking create custom part. You can also do so when we have the search opened up right down here at the bottom. It says create custom part. And again, you'll just select a category, enter a description, and then add our costing information in there. Another question here, what are components used for? So components, again, are organizational feature. So if we've got a larger estimate, typically I'll see components used for complete house remodels. If we've got a basement, we've got a kitchen, a bathroom, and a deck, we would have a component for each one of those. It makes it a lot easier for you when you're creating the estimate to stay organized. And then customers really like to see it broken down by component because it gives them an idea of what's the scope of work for each component. It just allows them to better justify the costs and to kind of see what's involved with the scope of work. And again, we can do that just by coming down here to add component and adding those components to our estimates. Jason here, when I create a part in my estimate, is it saved to the database? Good question. So when we create a part in our estimate, just by coming back here to create custom part, this is not saved to your database. This is just specific to our estimate. To create a part that's permanently saved in your database, you're going to come up here to parts. And this is more of an advanced feature, so I recommend getting a little familiar with Clear Estimates before you do this. But up here in parts, you're going to come down to the bottom, you're going to click add part. So it looks very similar to how we edited a part previously. In this case, we're going to completely define the part from the ground up. So we would type in a description, enter our pricing, and then what we want the part to say on our proposals, and then we would rank the part. So Jason, that is how you'll add a part completely to the database. And the great thing about this is you put in the work for the part right off the bat by creating it, and then you can use it on any estimate in the future. Okay, so what is the legal language showing up on my reports? Good question. That is the boilerplate language. So if you remember a few minutes ago when we were back in reports, the boilerplate, this is where we added in our own, we called it legal language. It's really just, some example text that we created. But if you wanted to add in anything like warranties, exclusions, liabilities, typically our customers already have a contract that they use that they can add in here, just copying and pasting their own boilerplate in. But that's Jerry. Jerry, this is where it's going to occur here, just in the boilerplate. And kind of my last question here from Jessica, how can we print more of a line item breakdown, not the formal proposal? Yeah, so the line item breakdown back here in the projects page, what we call the export project. So down here at the very bottom. So this is that original document that we looked at. It's kind of giving us our more technical breakdown. I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. Not a secret, rather, but a feature that's a little hard to find. Now, let's say we only wanted a few of these columns to display. So let's say we want to get rid of category, quantity, type, all these miscellaneous items here. We're just going to come in to our little arrows. We're going to go to columns, and I'm going to remove those. So we're going to get rid of the category. Say we're going to get rid of our labor hours. We're just going to make this real simple. Get rid of subcontractor. So you got description, material, labor, and total. So now that I've refined those, and again, I just went to these little arrows, come back down to the bottom, export project to PDF. And we're going to see our document kind of transform and customize to those columns that I defined here. So just a way if you want to tailor the sheet, or if the party that's looking at the document doesn't need to see all of that information, you can absolutely do that. And these documents are always yours to keep. You can download them right here, print them out. They're always stored in your account too, so if you ever cancel with us and come back, all of your estimate data is going to be saved for you. And support here is always free. One more question here from Anthony. What is Pro? So Pro is Clear Estimates' basically other products. So it's got a few additional features to what you're using now. That's what this button is right here, Upgrade to Pro. Pro gives you the ability to export to Buildertrend, the ability to export to CRMs or email marketing tools, the ability to have multiple users, and then the ability to invoice. So if you're interested in testing out Pro, just go ahead and click this button right here, or just contact us and we'd be happy to kind of walk you through those features. But definitely a good product here. But this standard version, which is $59 a month, gives you access to all the fundamentals of the program, everything you need to create estimates. It's a fantastic tool. Back to the support aspect, support is always free. So if any questions come up, just definitely feel free to reach out. We've got the articles and videos built right into your account right here, as well as access to our webinars where we talk about various topics related to the residential remodeling industry. And then the chat feature, which I was telling you about earlier. And then obviously you can give us an email as well. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. Hopefully it serves a purpose here, helps you out. And again, just definitely don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. And thanks for joining us.